Hello everyone, I'm Niharika Tiwari from Sociobits, and today at Sociobits Talks, I'm with the founders of Exter, Mr. Abhilash Devi and Mr. Preetham Hegde. Thank you for joining me today, guys. It's a pleasure to have you at Sociobits.
Thank you.
Thank you, Niharika.
So, could we begin with a little about Exter?
Yeah. Happy to share what we do at Exter. So, we are a company that is based out in Bangalore, and we are trying to make electric two wheeler or electric mobility accessible to everybody. So, the whole idea of doing this is primarily to reduce pollution. There is a lot of pollution here. So, we are trying to do that. So we have our own swapping services. So in a nutshell, what we do is like we making two wheelers, available across Bangalore. So that is what we are trying to do. Yeah.
Okay.
So our steps would accelerate the EV adoption. So and by that the pollutions will be less.
Yes.
That's the thought what we have.
Correct. And so, since we met the last time, what's new with Exter?
Yeah, quite a lot of things. I think we had told you that we are being awarded the grant from Karnataka government. Post that, we are also incubating the Atal incubation at Rambhav Malik Prabodhini. So we are part of the fast track incubation, wherein we are mentored with great minds from the industry, and experienced entrepreneurs are helping us reshape the way we see things. So it's a great support that we are getting from RMP, Datal Incubation Center. So, and we also started reaching out to customers, and we have our early sales that is done. We have close to 400 plus early bird signups in our platform. So that is where we stand. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, we have around 11 plus products for customers to choose in our site.
Oh.
So customer can come to our site evclub.extra.in and buy the scooter, or they can order a bike for themselves.
Yeah.
maybe I'll check it out once I learn how to drive.
Yeah.
So, okay, congratulations to Exter on everything that's going on.
Thank you. Thank you.
And so I would really like to ask you this. So what is it that Exter is exactly offering?
Yeah. Okay. So we as a company, we are providing battery as a service. For wherein these battery as a service would be available across multiple scooters.
Okay.
Okay, and this particular scooter, we have scooters which are starting from 60,000 rupees and going up to about a lakh. Yeah,
More than a lakh.
more than a lakh. We have multiple manufacturers, and the scooters are really good. That performance is also good. They are all rugged, and there are certain specific scooters which are specifically for the B2B sector, for the delivery side and everything like that. So we are moreover like a matchmaker for the electric scooters, the customers, and the battery. So we are like building that relationship with we are clubbing everybody, so that everybody, that conscious community is being built. So we as a company, we are trying to build that conscious community. We want to reduce pollution. That is the whole underlying agenda which we are trying to follow here: reduce pollution and start healing earth. So that is what we are trying to do.
And we have, as of today, 5 plus different brands or different brands listed in our site. And we are working with the more brands. Maybe I think we'll have a lot of options for customers today. We have around 5 plus brands and 11 plus options for customers
Yes.
today.
And there are a lot of other OEMs also who have come forward. We would be close to about 25 OEMs we would be listing in the platform in the coming days. But we are more than just listing all the manufacturers in the platform. We are very mindful on choosing who would be the right customer, because a customer is coming to our portal because we are doing some evaluation, and we want to give the best value to the customer who is coming to us and choosing an electric scooter from our portal.
Yeah.
So that is what we want to
when the
build.
customer most of the times calls us or asks us, like we ask them, what is your pattern of driving? I think we recommend the best bike for them. So
For example, people generally, the electric people who want to shift to electric two wheelers or electric vehicle in general, they want to choose a two wheeler or electric vehicle which is having the highest range. So but we specifically for the two-wheeler sector, when a customer approaches us and asks do you have the two-wheeler which is having a very high range, about 180 kilometers range, that kind of a range, we ask them what is a general usage. So we tell them don't buy a scooter for driving about 1 or 2 months, or one day that you have to drive about 150 kilometers. Don't choose that for that particular thing. So you choose what is the minimum requirement that you have and buy a scooter that will perform for that particular need. So on that particular day wherein you want to take that electric two-wheeler someday for about 150 kilometers, just get in touch with us. We will just give you another battery which will give you that particular range. You can use it for 2 days or 3 days and get back to the old scheme. So here as a customer they are getting that cost advantage, and they get that freedom to drive the electric scooters without causing pollution. That is the whole thing.
And I can think of this is the matrimonial site for choosing.
Yeah, it is weird.
Eevee marketplace.
Yeah, we can say we are building that relationship between the customer and the electric vehicle, and
and we make sure that the relation is for a longer duration.
Yeah.
Doesn't get ended in 3 years.
See, if you look at it, generally the batteries, for example, the batteries on the laptops, during the warranty period it works fine.
Okay.
And have you seen that after the warranty period, just after a year, how will be the performance of it? It has a tendency to go bad. It has nothing to do with that particular manufacturer or anything like. It is a general chemistry problem of that particular. There is something called as internal resistance which builds up in the battery over a period of time. So what we recommend is since you are subscribing with our thing, since we already have a backup of our manufacturing unit, we take back the old battery and we give them a company maintained fresh battery. So that particular battery would be put through all that maintenance and everything, and it will be bought back to made as good as a new battery, and then it would be given back to the customer. So that is how we are ensuring that the performance is being maintained, that range per charge and all that durability part we are taking care in that way.
So you mentioned that you review whatever you offer to your customers, right? That the quality should be there. So safety has become a big thing with Eevee.
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
With the burning of EVs everywhere, there was news sort of noise about it, right? So why was that happening? From you guys would know better, right?
Yes. There are actually multiple reasons for why that has happened, but I will highlight one of the main reason that is a common reason. Primarily it's because people are using very inferior quality cells. There are some people, some middlemen who ship in the second life cells into the Indian market. So the cells which are degraded and which is not fit for the EV use, they get into the Indian market and they try to sell it as a EV cell into the whole thing. So what happens is there is general heat production in the cell.
Okay.
When there is heat generation in the cell, then there is something fire that catches up, and once a fire, before that what will happen, there will be short circuiting in the whole battery. When there is short circuit, it is short circuit is nothing but the whole energy that is stored in the battery, in a fraction of a second it gets converted to heat. So it is the conversion that is happening there because of the short circuiting. So this short circuiting is happening primarily because the cells are bad. It is letting that short circuiting to happen. So this is one thing, usage of inferior quality cells. That is one prime reason, and and the design also has to be done very mindfully. Okay. The BMS, battery management system, has to be taken care, and majority of the places where these things have failed, it is primarily because of these two reasons. And there are certain reasons wherein some user negligence is also there, wherein in case there might be some wires that are being cut and the user may not have noticed. And what happens is when two wires are being cut, positive and negative are being cut, it gets short circuited and fire happens. So that is also one of the reasons, and there are a lot of reasons, but these are the very important reasons because of which the fire is actually happening. Yeah.
Okay.
And there's a very battery maintenance itself is a big challenge there. So that's what we are offloading the customers from. So when you get into the battery subscription with Exter, so we make sure you have a fresh battery or a better battery with you every year. And if something we take care of, and this is periodically we check with you and we make sure you have a good battery. So we also feel that like with the battery subscription, there's a very less chances of having such incidents. In the
Yeah,
future.
because these batteries which are you as a customer subscribing these batteries are 100% maintained ones. So our backend team would make sure, like, we have all the IoT enabled features for these batteries. So what happens, our backend team is regularly monitoring these batteries. So what happens, end of the day, if there is any spike in the temperature or something, we get notified in the whole area, and then we attend to it immediately. But nevertheless, on a regular note, every year we are doing this exchange of the batteries. So that is how we are able to maintain and sustain that particular quality of performance of the battery. So that's all. And for example, if you are buying a two-wheeler with a battery, for example, from any manufacturer, what happens is, like, two-wheeler generally providing 3 years. There are some people who are providing more than 3 years. So after 3 years or 4 years, what happens is the battery life goes bad. So when you charge the scooter which was giving you a range of about, for example, if it was giving 100 kilometers range per charge, that particular scooter, end of third year, it may give you about 70 kilometers. End of the fourth year, it may give you 60 kilometers. So you as a customer would be forced to buy a new battery at the end of fourth year, because you have to get that performance. It is battery is a very important component of the electric two-wheeler. So you would be forced to buy a new battery. Buying a new battery is again, like, again, it is one, okay, cost is there, but there is also going to be, like, it is going to be an additional hazard that is actually which you're put. The old battery becomes an hazard for the nature. So that is also one thing that you will be adding on to the whole thing. So we are kind of building that, that the whole ecosystem is there with us, right from the batteries which are being going to be maintained and being put into the system. So that is where we are fully taking care of it.
Okay, so now that you've explained it to me, how there is internal resistance in everything that builds up in the battery.
Yeah.
So if I am an EV vehicle or two-wheeler user, so how do I come out of this trap of forced to being buying a battery every 3 years or every 4 years?
Yeah, that's a good question. So that is where we people like us come into the help. So wherein, like, subscribing for our services, what we do is, like, every year when you're renewing the subscription fee, we will take back your old battery and give you a fresh battery that has been maintained by the company, which is so that maintained by the company, which will perform as good as a new battery. So that is what we bring to the table. So this particular process continues for a period of 6 years. That is what we are providing currently. And if the customer wants to extend this particular subscription, he can always extend it to 8 years or 10 years. That is what we are providing. And on top of that, you also get the freedom of swapping this electric scooter batteries across Bangalore. So that is where we are, and we are presently operating in Bangalore, but we are looking forward to cover all the tier 1 cities across the country.
Yeah, and we met or we spoke to a couple of customers who expressed that, like, we wish we had seen you 3 years before.
Yeah.
So I have sold my bike because cost of buying a new battery is is too much that I can buy a new bike itself. So they have sold their old bike because they have to invest another 40,000 to 30 to 40,000 additional after 3 years for buying a new battery. That's not
one more advantage that a hidden advantage that comes along with the subscription is, like, for example, you, after using your vehicle for 4 years, you feel there is another new vehicle that has come in. If you want to switch over to that particular vehicle, you can always have this particular subscription under your name and buy that particular vehicle with subscription from us. So that way, and when you sell this particular scooter also, the depreciation will not be much. There will be a very reduced
since you're not
depreciation.
selling the battery.
Yes. So that is, and the person who's buying the scooter from you can either go for a new subscription or whatever it is there. So that is how the whole thing. So you as a customer get the advantage of having a very well maintained, continually good performing battery forever, as long as you have the subscription of Exter. So that is what we bring onto the table.
Okay.
Hope.
So from a customer's point of view, battery is taken care of. I don't have to worry about the battery.
Yeah, because battery is the integral part. It is the most important part of the electric two-wheeler. Electric two-wheeler has primarily two components. One is the motor and the battery. So if the battery is failing, then the whole equation is failing. So that is how the whole thing. So No, it is moreover like the fuel tank for the electric two-wheelers. Here the fuel tank is the batteries which is carrying that current into the whole thing. Here the fuel is a current. The battery is a container which is actually going to transfer that particular fuel to the motor and allow you to drive anywhere. So that is how the whole thing is.
So, what will the customers miss if we don't choose Exter?
So instead of buying, see what happens, customer if he had not bought Exter, so after 3 years they may have to buy a new battery, which would be almost like 40% of the vehicle cost. So that's one. And second, the hassle of battery maintenance. So every year, see, instead of now you see just like our Abhilash mentioned, every year instead of the battery getting depreciated, you are actually having the same capacity battery every single year.
Every single year. So
till the subscription gets ended.
since we as our backend team and our technical experts would be maintaining the battery, so we make sure the battery performs the same on the day one also, and as I said, the end of the last day of the 6th year also. So that performance, that constant line of performance is what we would be giving it to the customer.
And while all these features been added, benefits are added, though there is still cost benefit. So we should have charged the customer extra, but with opting for extra, there are some still cost benefits. So
see, in our portal, for example, there are vehicles. If you're buying it from the OEM, you get it for about, for example, you get it for about 1,24,000 rupees. But whereas if you're buying the same scooter with our subscription, wherein every year, you want to have a fresh battery and battery swapping and those things, you still get a reduction of about minimum of about 6,000 rupees. Upfront reduction is coming, and after every, for example, if you use it for a period of 6 years with our subscription, you get a cost advantage close to about 40 to 50,000 rupees. Whereas
assuming that you have to buy a new
battery every 3 year or fourth year. Whereas if you're buying a scooter with the battery without the subscription, you would be forced to buy a battery in the 3rd or 4th year. So wherein you're shelling out close to about, minimum you'll have to sell out for a good battery from about 30,000 rupees, and it goes up to about 60 to 70,000 rupees.
And one more, if anyone would have already bought the scooter, so don't worry, after 3 years we'll talk. I think we can help them out after 3 years.
So nevertheless, we of course, like as Preetham had mentioned, like as of now our services are primarily targeting only the people who are buying the fresh scooters, but we are working out a plan. We are chalking out with certain strategic partners also, so wherein like we are able to support the people who are already the existing scooter owners and their batteries have gone bad and they are going to make that replacement. We are also working out a very good attractive offer for them, so they still keep riding that electric scooter without causing pollution. So we want to prevent them switching over to the petrol, so that also we are working on. We'll be closely we'll be coming out with a plan which will be comfortable for them.
As someone who is in the EV industry, do you think India is ready for two-wheeler EV?
Yeah, but, India is actually ramping up. It is accelerating in the two-wheeler sector. If you look at it, the compounding annual growth, which has been, it is more than 100% if you look back for the last 3 years. For the current year itself, the sales have already crossed about 2 lakh plus.
Yeah, 3 lakhs. So
Yeah,
the
3
last
lakh.
year, the whole sale was around 2.5 lakhs.
The whole sale for the whole
sale
current
for the
year.
year was 3 lakhs. What I'm talking is about the high-speed vehicles. Okay. The high-speed vehicles was around 3 lakhs. So 2.5 lakhs. This year, by July or August, it has already reached 3. It's beyond 3.
So that acceleration is already happening. And if you referring back to your question, is India ready for the EV space? For the four-wheeler, it is going to take a slight time, but for the two-wheeler, with services like ours, people would be more confident to choose electric two-wheelers. So we as a company, we want to give that confidence to the people to choose electric mobility as a prime source. So that is what we are trying to do. So we are more of like a motivation company, motivation, and matchmaking, and
so and with the government policies and some benefits what they're adding, including the battery swapping policy, what's coming in. So that's adding up or opening up a new business model, and that's where Exter is also placed at, right? So
Yeah,
we will be
you should mention about our, the battery swapping policy that is
Yeah.
coming in. Finance Minister has specifically mentioned about a battery swapping policy in the previous finance
Yeah.
budget, and
And
that is a very
not
beautiful
just
initiative.
mentioning, Niti Aayog have already started working on it, and the draft. I mean, we got a chance to
Be part of
the consulting. We gave a feedback on the draft, and very soon the swapping policy will come out.
Yes.
And second, India will be a role model
Yes.
on this battery swapping policy, or like how a battery swapping policy should, or battery swapping business should be there. I think India will play a
Yes.
role model for the whole world. for that.
We as a company, since we are based in Bangalore, we are trying to make Bangalore the EV capital of India. But India is going in the long run. We want to make India the global EV capital for the whole world. So that is where we are trying for, and India is heading to that way. We will reach there,
There's
and
no
we will
doubt about it.
we will set a role model for sure.
So I think for Exter, it's like the right time, the right country, and the right industry.
Yes.
And,
We are at the right place, and
Yes.
the grace of God.
Anyone have
It's
a
just that we need to make the right choice now.
true.
Exactly. So let's everybody let us all everybody make a conscious choice, wherein we will stop or try to reduce pollution. Let us make that choice. That is good enough.
And if anyone have any doubts about, like, say, whether I have to choose a EV or which would be the best EV for me, for my option and my style, do reach out to us. Maybe we have our number posted on our site, or else we have namaste@dexter.in. And if you are in Bangalore currently, you can use Sociobits. Yes, I think it will be added in the description. You can use that as a promo code. You will get additional discounts.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining
Thank you,
me,
Niharika.
guys.
Thanks.
It was a pleasure to have you at Sociobits, and all the very best to Exter.
Thank you very much. Thank you.